proper formal lecture rather than an interactive talk. I have multiple requests that we talk about the reference manager, and I think this is a useful thing for everybody. So I'll just mainly be doing the demos, and you can feel free to ask or interrupt any time. It's not a proper thing. So I have two problems. One problem is that lots of papers. Sometimes one paper I read the abstract and then I'll get to back it later, read it later. Other paper I read fully, but then I put it somewhere and then I don't know how to get it back. Others send me papers and then I say, okay, I will check this, and then I totally forget, and then I keep searching, digging my emails. So typically most of us have such a folder, lots and lots of papers, and the papers don't, when you download them from the journals, they're like that, so they're not named with the title and the author and things. In some papers you do the effort and actually try renaming the file name, but others you just, if you're like me or you're too lazy to do this. And so after a week or two, I actually don't find these papers, and it's a lot easier for me to search online, go PubMed again,
download it again,
and try to get it out from the start. So if you have put any notes on the paper, that this is lost. If you have, so this is one thing. Not to mention that if you want to get the same paper from your mobile phone, or your iPad, this is a totally different thing, sir. Unless you put it on Dropbox and rename it and do a lot of effort, this is really tedious. So this is one problem. The other problem is that I want to write a paper, and I put some references. So let's say I am writing a review of literature. So I'm writing a paper with like 80 references, and then I have to know how to style the references. There is something called Citation Styles, so which is something like you mark the reference in the paper like 1, 2, 3 in square brackets or round brackets or things, and then you put them with the numbers at the references section, and then each journal has its style in writing that references. So some you write all the authors, some you write the first 3 authors and then italic, some you put them alphabetical, some you put them numerical. So I've written a review and then submitted to a journal. Did a lot of effort to put the 80 references with their citation style, and then I've submitted it to the journal. And then the journal rejected the paper. Okay? So I'll now have to submit it to another journal that has a different citation style. So the first journal, I had to write the first 3 authors and then italic. Okay? And that was numeric. Now the other journal, you write the author and year, and then you put them alphabetical. So I have reformatted that, the whole 80 references again, and then by hand, and then submitted that to the other journal. And then again they rejected the paper. It was obviously was not a very nice paper.
No, or a very stupid journal.
And now I want to submit it to a third journal. And that third journal, the citation style, they actually want to have all the authors written. Well, I have just written the first 3 authors. And now I need to dig out the whole 80 references to get the rest of the author. I'll just not submit the paper. Okay?
كده عيب.
And some, like a teeny trial will have about 100 authors. So that's another thing.
That's
you have to type down about 100 authors for a teeny.
And you keep the style the same along the whole references. Okay, this is a tedious process. This is a difficult process. The other scenario is that I'm writing my thesis, and then I'm about to print, and then my supervisor asked me to add 2 new paragraphs with 5 new references, and now I'll have to reformat the whole thesis with the new numbers. This is a tedious process. Okay? So we're here today to solve these problems. So there is Mendeley. The best thing one can ever have. Okay? This is a life-changing software. Okay, I'm a bit exaggerating, but this is a really life-changing thing. It is free, cross-platform, so you get the Windows, the Mac, with lightweight version for the Android and iOS. Its goal is to solve these problems. So I have downloaded already the software, installed that, created an account, which is a 2-minute thing, and then I have this folder, the exact same folder, with the same names that I have downloaded the files with. So I'll just so now I want to add these files into my program. So I say add files, go to my folder, select all, open. By the way, I have to be connected to the internet while doing this step. Okay.
Are you now?
I am now. And then everything lights up. Every single paper gets enlisted here with the list of author, the true list of author, the title of the paper, the year, the journal it was published, and when I added this specific paper to my software. So if I select this, I actually get the journal, the year, volume, issue, the actual abstract of the paper, its web link, and everything. So
PDF.
and the PDF. So if I just double click this, I get the PDF. I get good reading experience, so I can read the PDF. I can search into the paper and then get next inside the paper. Clearly, I can copy text from the file. I can highlight.
That's not allowed. That's blacklist. You cannot use the blacklist.
Plagiarism.
Plagiarize.
No, but عليك.
I'm copying this to put it into my notes.
Okay.
But you know, if you copy from paper, like many people do here, there is a program which actually detects that. And if it detects it, it disqualifies you and penalize you and everything else. You should never copy anything.
paragraphs.
You can put, say, he said X in a different way, but not his own words. And we're still having, I'm sure you know that, if you copy your own self in a paper I've written myself, so I say, they detect it and reject me, say, you can't copy yourself twice. You said it once before. No, it's true. I mean, so you say that you're cheating. Right? It was me. No. Okay.
So you can put notes, and then you say this is an important. Come back to here. Good methods try to replicate, add, so and do the other. So you can do most of the things that you do in a regular PDF viewer, but inside your library with all the metadata here. What is metadata? So metadata is data about data. So this paper is data. This table is metadata. So list of authors, list of the titles, the journal, the year publishing. Okay. So let's say you can create folders here, and these folders doesn't have to do anything with your computer folder structure. So it is just virtual inside the program.
It's like clouded.
Sorry?
Clouded on the internet.
This is currently just local on your computer. Okay, but yes, Mendeley has a web space that it gives you for free, and then you can do that cloud. But let's talk now about the how to organize your library inside your computer. So this is my library. So you can do the folder structure you want: adult, congenital, thoracic, anything, and then you can do subfolders and anything. Okay, and that. Okay, so again, let's do that exercise. I have read the paper, and I want to come back to it, and so I go to all documents, and then let's say I want to search for freestyle.
For what?
For freestyle.
Freestyle.
So I've just written in the search box freestyle, and now it has searched my library. In this paper, it found it in the title. In this paper, it found it in the abstract. In this paper, it has found it in the full text of the article itself. So it does full text search. This is a big thing. This is my PubMed, my local intra-computer PubMed. Okay? And then I can actually refine that. So I can say, okay, I want to search freestyle inside the title of my paper. And so it filters the papers so that it matches freestyle inside the title. And then if I say author Hamamsi, and then I can find the papers that have in their title freestyle, and in the list of author El Hamamsi. It is my local PubMed. This doesn't have to do anything on the internet. The internet step was while importing the papers in the first place, but then you do all that inside your
offline.
So you have to download the paper in your computer to find this.
That's first time round, yeah.
for now.
For now. Okay.
For now.
Yeah, for now what? I mean, you had it a year ago.
I mean, for the sake of this discussion now, we have added this article by importing the PDF. You can still do that if you do not have the PDF.
Yeah.
Okay,
Have the abstract
we'll
only.
talk about that later.
Maybe it can be synchronized to the online.
Yes, we'll
Oh,
talk about it.
so you can import it.
Import things, okay? But for this discussion now, we're just thinking about PDF organizers, okay? So we're talking about the PDF organizer function of this program. So now we have imported papers, we have put them in a nice list. You can search in them, and then anyone who writes a paper, they ask you to put a list of keywords. Keywords is the keywords related to this paper, so that when anybody else searches it, it gets on the higher results.
There are keywords.
Keywords, yes. So again, let's get these. So set title, paste type. So something like that. So you get. So you get here the abstract of the article, where you can actually read the abstract without having to reopen the paper again or anything. But then you get the author keywords. These authors said our keywords are bioprosthesis, homograft, and Ross procedure. Okay, and so you can search for these, or you can actually list all the keywords of all your papers, and then start reading by topics. So as if I want to read today about aortic, and so I go to the list of to here and say filter my papers by author keywords, and then I go to, let's say, aortic valve surgery. So I get papers talking about aortic valve abnormalities, aortic valve chemistry, drug effects. So you can say, let's read today about so and so. And then you go through keywords, and then you will find which paper is talking about these. And then you can filter by anything else. You can filter by authors. So we want to search my entire library by an author called, let's say, Magdi Yaqub.
That would be a lot of publication.
You never know.
So you'll find in my library authors, the author Magdi Yaqub with these specific articles. And so you can do lots of things. So you can just free text search, or you can filter by authors, keyword. You can put the
I'm sorry, I have to stop you here because
yeah.
actually when you cite someone as prolific as professor, you have a problem. Is that, for example, I know that Prof has written a paper, an important paper, in New England Journal of Medicine on advance. I don't remember the name of the title, and if I search it on PubMed, I'll be lost because Prof has 1,300 publications. So can I filter that in? So let's say Prof on.
So let's say about. So let's search my library for a paper that I know it exists.
Yes.
So let's say I'll search here for the author that has Yaqub in it, and then I want to search about coronary.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you put?
Coronary.
Yeah, but then Prof has
Coronary.
100 publications on that. I want to remember the one on circulation, for example. You know,
So you can say publication name, and then write annals, circulation, anything.
But there are also problems that there are many Yaqubs.
There are many
There
Yaqubs.
M Yaqubs as well as many M Yaqubs.
So you can.
There is an M Yaqub in North Africa, somewhere in Morocco, and he writes a lot. Almost one of them is also Magdi, so it becomes very, very difficult. So you need to narrow it as much as possible.
Yes. So then I find the anatomic correction of the syndrome of prolapsing right coronary cusp. I can find the anatomic correction of the thoracic vein. So I can find the. So you can do your offline search with filters related to author, title, publication name, and anything. Okay. You can actually do full text search inside the thing. If you know a specific technique was used in the method, so you can just type this thing. So it is quite powerful. Okay.
Or a co-author.
Oracle author. So this is the list of author. This is not necessarily the first or the last. This is inside any author in the whole list.
So that will pick even if it was in the
If
middle. Or
yes, that will pick effect. Okay, and then I can say for this specific paper, I want to put as if like my own keywords. Okay, so the just not to mix things. These are author keywords that the authors have selected for their specific paper. For I can put my specific tags, which are totally different, and then I say
or a number if you want to.
or a number. So I call it my great review. So I put this a tag that I will put this paper as a reference in my great review.
You can pull it again.
So you can search for it again, and then now if I clear everything, if I go to totally different things, and then you can search by the tags that you have already listed. So you can get that back, even you put notes, even you put anything. So it is a very powerful thing. And as regards the cloud, so anybody who creates an account gets for free 2 gigabytes of free space on the website. Okay, and then you can synchronize. By default, you synchronize the whole library as the metadata for the whole library. But you can actually choose to also synchronize the whole actual files. Okay, and then your PDF files are physically stored on the cloud, and then you can open through your mobile, through the iPad, or if you're sitting on a different computer, you just go to mendeley.com, log in into your account, and then you can see your whole library and actually start reading
And
online.
the password, of course.
Of course, with the password.
I didn't receive it.
That's a problem that I cannot solve.
Actually, Happy can solve it. And you can crack any password, but that's another.
Is it true?
Yeah, he's a hacker.
He's a hacker.
He's a pirate.
Oh my.
So I assume I still remember my password. And then I go to my library online. And then I get a very similar interface where you can actually start reading papers, getting the data, adding new papers and all sorts of things. So one other thing is that how can you get this is by opening the old documents. You get edit settings. I don't want to go every single detail in the program. It is good enough, but just to let you know. So you can synchronize attached files, and then you can select specific folders to synchronize, or you select the whole library. So you can do whatever you want.
And why do you have 10 gigabytes instead of 2.0?
Because I'm a hacker.
10 gigabytes?
It does have 10 gigabytes instead of just that only any of us can have 2.
He has 10.
I am actually Mendeley advisor.
Yes.
So I am.
Advisor.
Yes.
So there's a conflict of interest.
Anything to disclose?
I'm working with good reader.
Anything else to disclose, Dr. Hatton?
Sorry?
Anything else to disclose?
Nothing more. Apart from being a hacker. Okay. So yes. So we said you can regard. So it is easy to import your PDFs. Mind you that on your web on your desktop the files remain the same.
Okay.
So the same total mess with, but you get all the organization inside your Mendeley library. So what if I wanted to add? So sorry. Yeah.
Searching online papers, only free papers?
This is a different thing. I'll tell you later.
What was the question?
Is that just for free paper that you can
PDFs
get?
I import
For
online.
the PDF.
Oh, I see.
So I've not told you now about searching online. I'm just said that if you have the
You
PDF,
got them already.
how can you get them either free or you have a subscription or anything? If you want to get
Another thing.
paid paper, that's another talk. That's my hacker side of the thing.
But you still can put an
Abstract?
abstract without the PDF. Can you please tell them about that?
For now, I don't need this. This is just a PDF organizer. Okay. I will come to this later. Okay. Okay. What if I have downloaded 2 other papers, and now I lost track? Have I added these papers to my Mendeley? Or when did I last import my papers?
Synchronize.
Do I have to re-import them all together again? So there is a very nice feature here. So I said from the instead of adding file, I can add folder, but then I can actually watch folder. Watch folder. So I'm telling Mendeley, keep track with this folder, keep watching it. Whenever I add new papers into this folder, add it
To my library.
directly into my library. Okay? So I say watch folder, and then I go to desktop papers. Okay? So I'm now watching that folder on my desktop. Okay? So let's say I'll try to keep this more interactive. Okay, so now I have downloaded 3 more papers, and now I add them to my folder. And then they will be automatically added into my library. So now, since I am watching that folder, I know that whenever I download new papers, so the classic thing is that I put a specific folder for my papers and just my papers. So I don't let the program watch my whole computer, because every time it will be starting, it will need to rescan the whole computer, okay? And not my whole downloads folder. So I keep a specific folder into which I put my papers, and I keep them in that folder totally disorganized, just like that. And then I do everything in Mendeley. Clearly, you have to take care that when the papers are imported automatically, they don't go into a specific folder in Mendeley in a specific folder structure. You then have to move them and put the tags or whatever you want. Okay?
Will sync button again?
Sync will synchronize your local library to your online library. And then whenever you add new papers into your computer, you can then find it on the cloud, and then you'll be able to sync that to your mobile library. So you just sync here and sync there, and then all the papers are everywhere. Okay? On your mobile, by default, it doesn't download the paper unless you ask, so that it don't take a big
Storage space.
on the mobile and on the network.
Same with iPad.
The same with iPad. So you go to the papers you want and then download them, and then you'll be downloaded. Instead of downloading the whole 2 gigas on your iPad and use the data.
Okay, so now I'm letting Mendeley watch my paper file.
Yes.
So what if I lost my folder My offline folder, say the data was lost, it was deleted, the computer was formatted.
The computer was formatted, the
Yes.
computer was stolen, anything.
My online synchronized data.
It is the same. You get a new computer, install Mendeley, log in with your password, synchronize, you get the whole data again.
Okay,
So you get the library, and if you synchronize your actual files, you will get again the files. Okay?
So it is preserved somewhere.
It is preserved. It is preserved
With Mendeley.
with Mendeley, and the good thing is that it is preserved because you can preserve things with Dropbox. But Dropbox is general
Yes.
file thing. This is actually, it is preserved with that structure, with the metadata. You can search for the title, author, things, everything on your computer, on a new computer, on your mobile, on a totally different computer through the web interface. I mean through your work computer or something.
Does Mendeley do a whole lot of other things, or just specialize as a manager, reference manager?
So for now, we have talked about how it makes life easy as a PDF organizer, as a paper organizer.
I'm talking about Mendeley itself.
Mendeley itself is for research papers.
And also all sorts of things, or just research papers with
Just research paper.
reference manager.
That's just research paper with reference manager.
Is that true?
Yeah.
And are there other reference managers?
There are others. There are others actually quite famous reference managers. So the one program that was really famous, the EndNote. This is a really famous one, but it is a commercial product that you need to buy. There is a reference manager that is called Reference Manager. This is also a good thing. There is Zotero. There are other things. I prefer that because I've used one of the others, and this is the best user interface that. And for the disclosure things, not at least mine, but for Mendeley, recently Elsevier has acquired Mendeley. Okay, and then the turnover of the updates and the things have markedly improved, because at first it was just a free program and kept by a small organization which had really nice features but had little resources. Now with the resources of Elsevier, they are taking, but you can still add any paper from any publisher. It is just maintained by Elsevier. And now once we get that, actually the web space increased and the turnover for the updates has increased and things. So it is maintained by a big company.
What is Good Reader, which I use? Is that just specific to iPad or
Good Reader is specific to iOS.
to Apple?
To Apple. It is a program that works on iOS. It is the best I have seen PDF reader, and does a really good
Best,
job
you call it.
for what I have seen. It is the best PDF.
What does that mean, best PDF reader?
Because on the App Store you can find lots of other PDF readers. So it is the one that has most features and best user friendly. And then it solves the problem of the iOS where there are no folder structure. So it has inside it a folder structure. You can create folders and things. So, but it is different.
How does that compare to this? Should I stay with it or?
So you cannot synchronize your good read to other devices.
I can't even import them for writing papers. I don't.
It is difficult. It is difficult. It solves a big problem, at
It
least
is
on your
good
specific
on-
iPad, but it's not totally nice with others. But it works well for other file formats. So you can add videos, you can add pictures, you can because it is a general thing.
you can add videos.
But this is specific to research the papers. You can synchronize with that. It does import it detects automatically the metadata, which is a totally whole different thing. In having to use it as a reference manager. With PDF, with Good Reader, you cannot do this. You will have to get by hand the title, author, everything. So it is a totally different scope.
So yeah, it doesn't help you writing paper. It's just reading on the.
Yes, just reading on the thing.
But can you have both?
You can have both. My suggestion would be to keep things centrally inside Mendeley, and then you keep synchronizing with Mendeley. And then inside your iPad, after you download the file with Mendeley, you open it, read it in Goodreader. But then you keep your organization
I
inside
thought
the...
it would be the opposite, because I have everything on Goodreads. I now want to.
Yes, you can do that.
You can send it to Mendeley, and Mendeley can take it to the.
You can take your whole library, regardless
And
your
then-
folder structure.
Yeah.
But
And-
this adding the references and automatically getting the metadata needs to be on a proper computer. So it has to be a PC or a Mac, so that you can get. So you can import your whole library from Goodreader into your Mendeley in Mac, and then you get everything sorted, organized, and then you can start reading on both.
Are you all following? Very good.
Okay.
It's too damn good.
Let's say I have some papers that I want to share. So I am writing a paper with Afifi, Muhammad Hassan, and Dr. Karim Saeed, who is not here in Aswan. Okay? And now we want to share some papers. And we actually want to have some discussions along this specific paper that we are writing. So you can share folder, okay? But in a different sense. So in Mendeley, the shared folder is called a group. Okay? Group. So down there, you have groups. And then let's say that's a demo group. I call the HC. And then you get a Facebook style group where you can write comments. I have added this paragraph so and so. And then you can add documents specific to this group.
والممبرز طلعوا ازاي؟ الممبرز عندي مثلا
We just you send the invitations. So groups are either so this is Hatem, Karim Saeed, Ahmed Afifi, Muhammad Hassan, and you can invite other members. Groups can be private or public.
ما ازاي
طب.
اصلا في Mendeley؟
They all have Mendeley, but then whatever papers you put inside this group will be available in the Mendeley of each specific member, and then they can work in their paper together. So the reference manager will work on each one. We have not talked about reference managing yet, but this helps to share things, including talks and other things like that. Okay. So enough for you can get the other things, other actually fancy things. You can search in Mendeley library rather than going to PubMed and things. Anyway, what's the
that?
sorry?
How big is Mendeley library?
It is big. It is really, really big. Yes.
And it's free access, obviously.
Free access for the metadata. To get the actual PDF, they will send you to the publisher and then you deal with them. So if you have institution access, you get it. So if the paper
I
is
see, they're still bound by the publisher.
of course. But then you actually get access to the
Done by pass.
yes, but this is a good thing because you still get the search result for articles written in paid journals. So you get the
Abstracts and
the Nature papers, and then you go to Nature to download the PDF. But you get the abstract. So let's say there is a Mendeley suggest feature. Currently, it's working on their web interface, but soon they will put it inside the. So let's say, suggest some papers for me to read. And so, based on my own library, he is now suggesting new articles. I'm not searching, I'm just exploring. And then, this is what Mendeley came up with because of my library. Outcome of right ventricle to pulmonary artery conduit for biventricular repair. Long-term follow-up for repaired tetralogy of Fallot. Restrictive right ventricular physiology after Fallot repair. The Fontaine circulation after 45 years.
Who's writing that?
That's Brown.
Brown.
Oh, John Brown.
No.
Which Brown?
It's in the heart.
But who's Brown?
S.C.
I'm
Brown.
very curious.
S.C. Brown.
Huh?
So I open this, I read the abstract.
Where is that from?
It's
It's
hard.
hard.
It's a bird. It's usually either Melbourne, and I know the guys, but is that somebody new? Who is it?
So it sent me to BMJ to read the whole article there.
Stefan.
C. Brown.
Stefan, from Germany. Where?
From Belgium.
Belgium. I know the senior author.
Can you go? No, this is not. No, he's not from. He's not from Leuven. He's from Leuven and something else. Can you press on author affiliation?
Because Brown doesn't sound a Belgian name, but it could be what the other author.
South Africa. And
They're in South Africa.
Leuven and South
Africa is affiliated to both.
So who would do the other authors?
Mark Joey.
Huh? Oh, Gwelling. Oh,
Well, yeah.
that's Mark Gwelling. He's a guru. Mark is a guru. He's the originator of all this. Mark Gwelling.
So yes, you can have some suggestions without actually doing any effort. It just by artificial intelligence, checking my library,
Very, very good.
getting other papers that I yeah.
That's educating. Wonderful, I have.
So this is a thing. Now let's go to. Now I write my paper, my great review. Okay, and now I want to put references from my great library. Okay. So now I open a new Word file. So one quick thing, when you install Mendeley, okay, you want to make sure that the Word is not open, so you close your Word program, and then you go to Tools,
Why?
Install Word plugin. Okay, now because now you need to do specific things inside Word, Microsoft Word, where you're actually writing the paper. But then you want to use Mendeley inside the Word. So it has to integrate. So now, while I'm closing the Microsoft Word, I want to check install Microsoft Word plugin. And then it says the installation was successful.
Word what?
Plugin.
Plug in.
Plugin. Okay? So when I do that, go to Microsoft Word, inside the tab References, up here, you'll find a new section here, Mendeley. This is now integrated inside my Microsoft Word. Okay? So now I want to start writing my great review.
Which one is that? Is that the transposition?
I hope that will be a great one. Okay? And then I start so I now start writing, and then I want to add a reference here, and then I want to put a list of references down there. So this is my file, and the references, the list of references should go here.
However, he will understand automatically that the references will go to this page or not.
Sorry?
He will understand automatically to send. Okay. أسيدي كنت
ما تيجي نشوف.
مش
هم أصحاب عارفين
هم
بعض.
أصحاب عارفين بعض. So I'll do some fancy word things to be able to see things at the same time. دي صعبة عليكم معلش يعني. Okay. Now, so So this is the review, and this is the other page of the references. We can see them together. Okay. And now, after I have written one great paragraph in my great review, I want to add a reference to this paragraph. And so I go to references, insert citation. Again, let's remember what we used to do. I had to get all the references, dig out by hand each and every author, put them and know which journal I'm submitting to, and then start writing by their specific format. So let's say it will be a numeric format, and then authors, then journal, then year, then volume, issue, page numbers, all things, and do that for the whole 80 references. Okay, let's now start adding references. So I go to the reference tab and then click insert citation. Then I get a dialog asking me to search inside my Mendeley library. So I can search here, start searching for Jakub, freestyle, and then I get late outcome following freestyle. And then when I add this, I get a reference, but then nothing appears here. So I go here, and then tell him from, again, that same section, insert bibliography. So when I said bibliography, I actually get the citation from Mendeley. I have written nothing. I have actually not even written this inside Mendeley. It was detected automatically just by throwing the paper from my messy folder that has no title for that specific paper, even on the file name. You remember? Okay.
But it's picked it by the keyword.
It picked it by the keyword that I have. So I'll give this a bit smaller so that you can see the rest. And now I want to add another sentence. There is a shortcut, Alt-M. Okay? So Alt-M, Mendeley, so that I don't keep going into the reference tab adding things. So Alt-M get it fast. And then again, I can search, filter by which folder, or I can just go to Mendeley because I know where I have put it there. So I say, so I say go to Mendeley. Clearly you want Mendeley to be open while you're actually typing inside the word. You cannot do that while the Mendeley program closed. So you need to open them both.
But I think when you open the reference, automatically Mendeley will open the word.
Yeah.
When you open the reference, when you go insert
I started doing this with the older versions of Mendeley.
You need to open them.
Anyway, so now you get both open. And then I go inside Mendeley, I use my whole glory here. So I can get it from which folder I know, search for the tags, whatever I do, and then whenever I get my paper, and then I can click Cite high above here. So Cite, and then it goes and automatically adds the reference. So I keep adding my whole. So now I want to. I just remembered this sentence actually had 2 papers. So it's not just 2. I want to add another one here. So I add another one. There. And then Cite. And then it actually adds 2, 3. No, it isn't written like that. It is actually 2, 3. So if I added them separately, Mendeley will not know. So I come to it and then say, so select them both, and then merge citations, and then it will know that it will to merge these. And I actually start doing things like adding multiple references at the same time. So while pressing Control, I can actually select multiple papers. and then cite.
It's not citing all the authors because that's the style of that particular journal
Yes,
you wanted.
that's the style of that particular journal. And so it writes the first few authors and then ital, because that is the style of Vancouver. Okay?
How
So
many styles are there?
I'm now selecting Vancouver.
Yeah, but how many?
I think all
choice.
I'll show you that in a moment. I'll show there are thousands.
The main, huh?
There are
Two
thousands.
main are Harvard and Vancouver.
But there are many others.
There are thousands. There are thousands. Okay, you can
Thousands.
thousands. So you can select which citation style you want. So let's say Harvard, and then you get author, ital, and year, and then the
One
references.
author.
Sorry,
One author.
one author inside the text, and then you get the rest, the citation style. First
by
author,
alphabetical
ital.
order. But also by alphabetical order. It's not
And then this is changed into alphabetical.
Oh, it reorganizes it.
All together, just automatically. You just select which things. So you remember that review that I've submitted to first journal and rejected, other journal, again rejected, third journal. I just changed the citation
Just
style.
author, yeah.
And then it is a 1 second thing. It's not a 2 weeks effort. And this is error proof because you cannot get things wrong here. You just change the citation style. While if you do that by hand, every specific reference, yes?
There are some journals that do not follow specific styles that are already on the drop list. How can I search for other styles?
Okay, so
Is it a
More styles.
property of Microsoft Word or is it a property of Mendeley?
Mendeley. Okay, so I go to the style. We have selected Harvard and Vancouver, but there are other more styles. So open most styles, you get back to Mendeley. These are the list of the installed styles.
Default style.
But then you can get more styles, and let's search for Jack. And then you find the specific styling of Jack. And then you install
So you can cite a journal.
a journal. And then you search here for Jack, use this style, and then when I say done, now I get the citation style of Jack. I've just added that on the fly. No 2 weeks thing. No, just forget about the paper. I will not reformat these 80 references again. Okay? This is, yeah. And so now the effort you have to do is to actually write the paper and not care about how would I do that.
That's a minor thing.
That's a minor thing. Okay? And now actually notice that I have referenced a specific paper here and there, and then it has known that this paper is number 3, so it has written number 3 here and number 3 there. It did not duplicate that paper.
Give them a chance to talk. There is a silent majority.
Actually, we're shocked.
You're shocked.
I'm wondering where was that a year ago when I was doing my thesis.
Yeah, this is the reaction I get every time I talk, because it's like 2 weeks of effort, of actually wrong effort. Would say.
Because, I mean, I suffered massively because I was writing them by hand, one by one, including every author and thing. And then they say change it. And now, for the last 5-10 years, I don't do it at all. I say either delay it or just give it to a secretary or give it to somebody, but that's not good enough. I mean, because you can't have a lot of slaves.
When I
And Prof, this is accessible to you, not accessible to everyone.
It is wrong. It is wrong.
So I have my secretary, and my secretary is called Mendeley.
Yeah.
And it is a lot less error prone.
when I introduced actually Mendeley to one of my professors, he told me that they organized his references in cards. and put the cards on the wall like this in the same order. When his supervisor tell him to change this one, so it changes this at this. So sometimes this cards, down, yes, so down and crash.
On the floor and then everything.
So you need to organize them again and again and again.
Oh, but people like Daphne, have you used this? Is that useful to you? Yes. Helen?
Never.
You've never knew that. So this is
It is
new.
one of the. I
Yeah?
would like to congratulate him.
What?
I would like to congratulate him because I am suffering a lot in.
Well, don't congratulate him too much because he's an advisor.
Okay, I don't get paid apart from getting the 10 gigas, which is...
But he
Then you are
gains in
sharing
stature. He gains in stature. And we respect him even more, if that's possible.
So Omar, you want to ask?
What if after you finish writing the paper, you re-edit it?
Okay, so let's say...
In the order of the paragraphs.
Okay. Let's say my honored supervisor asked me to, this is very good, but actually it would be very nice if you put it earlier. You start with this paragraph. And then, I will have to do this again. But with Mendeley, it is different, so that, let's say...
By the way, can I see that paper on the coronary? Is that one of ours or somebody else's?
Mechanism of coronary complications after arterial switch.
The coronary, yeah.
That's
from Harvard or from us?
I think this is
That Emil Pasha or us?
no,
The
it is,
good people. I know Uli is a Dutch guy, Chinese
The
Dutch.
sixth one from the top.
But who is it?
so mechanisms of coronary complications.
Can you get the complete list?
Yeah.
Uli, the little guy. Very bright. Daniel City, Paris.
So I'll send that to you.
Huh?
I'll send this paper to you.
Send it to me. It's very, very interesting. There are others by Emil Pasha. I'm very interested in the topic.
These are from France.
Huh? This is from Paris.
From Paris, France.
Daniel City.
Okay. So again, back to a question, almost question. So let's just remember. So this paragraph was citing Zipes, Mai, and others. Okay. So you want that to get. So I cut that and then put it here.
When are you going to finish? Ever or sometime or
And
you put a
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So then when I press refresh, the numbers are edited, and the citations, the bibliography list has been edited. So it's a matter of pressing refresh. Okay. Okay. So now my whole library is available to be cited in Mendeley. But I added the references to my library by actually importing the PDF files. What about the papers that I do not have access to the PDF file? So let's go to so I go to PubMed. Well, now I close Mendeley, everything. I don't have except PubMed. So let's search for Magdi Jakub. And then
Can you say Magdi Yakub 2016?
okay. Because in PubMed it is already by lost. So these are the latest things.
Yeah, but I want only to restrict to that,
Okay.
rather than to get the 1,000 plus.
So now I have the famous paper of Ahmad, So heart failure in neonate with multiple cardiac masses, and now I will pretend that I am not able to get the PDF. This is not me, I can't get the PDF. So let's pretend that I do not have access to this specific PDF. And actually, this is a good paper that I want to reference to. Okay. So in Mendeley, I can add. We added references earlier on by either adding file, adding folder, watch folder, but then if I press this arrow, I get the whole list.
Sorry, can I interrupt? Is that identical to PubMed? It goes to PubMed to do this, or
it goes to PubMed and other things to get the metadata. Yes.
So they are more accurate. Because sometimes PubMed is not all that accurate. So this is more.
It is as accurate.
For example, how many did it find?
19.
Huh? It found 19.
But because
From 2016.
Prof, you're
But I have already searched in PubMed.
Yeah, but because
I have done my search in PubMed.
In PubMed.
In PubMed already.
Yes.
You're restricted to PubMed.
Yeah. Prof's, for example, Prof, his name in PubMed is not Magdi Yaqub, it's M. Yaqub. These
Yeah.
are, if you really want to search for Yaqub, you have to go M. Yaqub. If you go Magdi Yaqub, you miss so many.
A lot. Yeah.
So,
you go MH, you get
other things.
Yeah.
But I just wanted here to show the search through PubMed because this is our normal workflow. So I'm not asking you to change your workflow to use Mendeley. Actually, use the whole workflow that whatever you want. If you get the PDF, Mendeley will handle that. If you do not get PDF and you just get the abstract, you either through PubMed or through the publisher itself, you can still import it to Mendeley.
It takes you there.
I search through PubMed, and once I get, I'll just show how I can import it. And then, so I can add files, that's specific PDF files, add folder, watch folder, but then I can select add entry manually. So I go here, and then I can actually write the whole metadata. So I go here, write the title, so it was
Neonatal
this.
heart failure.
I copy this,
There's a faster.
paste here, then list of authors. I have to write first author, last name, comma, first name, then second, then third, then. Okay, you're disappointed, huh? This is not Mendeley. So I go to here, then I find
DOI.
PubMed ID, PMID, or DOI
That's a number, huh?
number, or digital object identifier. It can handle any of these, and actually other identifiers. But the most famous is the PubMed ID or the DOI. So I copy this or that. So selected that.
And the PubMed ID
Copy.
goes automatically always
And then any article on PubMed has the PubMed ID
and comes with it.
and comes with it. But then if you get it from the publisher, they don't necessarily
Mention
type the PubMed ID there,
yeah.
but they actually put the DOI,
DOI being
digital object identifier, which is identifier universal
You would
across
advise-
papers and across any other digital content.
So you would advise doing DOI.
Yes, or both. You can get the metadata by both. Sometimes it was more convenient this or that. So I go to again, so I got the PubMed ID, selected add entry manually, and then I go down there, I just ignore all this metadata, and then go to catalog IDs, find PubMed ID, put that here,
Sir.
and then I have to click on this, because we usually forget this. I have to now search online, I have to be online now, and then look up. Doesn't have the icon of the PDF. Okay? It is actually listed because the metadata here doesn't necessarily need to be the PDF. The PDF was used to extract this metadata, but if you get it from online, you don't have to have the access to the actual PDF. Okay? But you can still get it in your list. And so if in my great review, Now I want to give reference to Ahmad et al. I can select Ahmad, cite, and then I get it. The exact same reference. So let's assume that I have a paper, and now, so let's say that, and then they refer here
تاخد reference بتاعتهم.
so they refer to a reference number anything. So I want to put a reference to their reference. You should not do this, huh? This is wrong, but in case you want.
She always do.
I don't understand fully, but
In case you want to put reference to actually this reference, not to the paper itself, to the reference they have already referenced.
oh, I see from the paper.
From the paper.
Yeah.
So you copy this,
You get the whole thing, or you just put it
go PubMed, search the whole citation,
and get it.
you get it in PubMed,
Yeah.
Get the BM
you get
ID.
the PubMed ID, and you're good to go.
You put it.
You put it there, you get it as a, so again,
Very nice. You need to keep using it all the time.
it is a bit of learning curve. I don't want to get things more, but you put this, you search for that, you get the data, save it,
كلكم مقتنعين؟ ها؟ Good stuff. Right?
reference that,
He passes, huh?
and you are good to go. Okay? So it is really helpful. It makes life easier because the other thing, okay, this is a bit of work to get the paper, go to PubMed, get the PubMed ID, but the alternative is actually to go that paper, get the PDF, copy first author, second author, last author, title, journal, put the citation style when you want to change this, all the mess. So this keeps track. And then what I do for my things that whenever I try to write a new paper, I create a new folder for that paper. And then put the references there. So I keep track, so whenever I change things, add references or delete or remove them, I have them there. And if I want to, I can create a group with the other authors so that we can share it together.
And talk.
It is a useful workflow.
Talk.
So
اسألهم هي.
any other thing?
طب
مين عايز يعمل ايه؟
نعمل فوت نشوف is it good, bad or indifferent? Who says it was good? Who says it was bad?
So let's ask.
If you dare.
Have anybody used a different reference manager? Has anybody did know the idea that there was something called reference manager before? So yeah, some of you. Have you actually used a reference manager, either Mendeley or anything else?
I just have few. I have few comments. If I
Okay.
can.
Yeah, please.
One is that when you start writing a paper, and this is important, this will really help you. Hatton knows me. He really changed my life. But the thing is, a word of caution: after you finish, again, try to do one final step manually, because sometimes specific journals, for example, Global Cardiology Science and Practice, will ask for a specific style that may not be there in Mendeley. So the very final article, just try to do final touches manually. That's really changed.
This can be one thing. One thing. Oh, sorry, come.
I'm sorry. Number two, I was just saying like
Real life
situations. Number two, when okay, I'm writing the article and then I'm sending it for a final review to Prof, and Prof will send it, or to Hatton will send it. When I send it by email, and Hatton has Mendeley, he can change few things. But if Hatton does not have a Mendeley, the electrical content may change slightly.
Yep.
So make sure.